Welcome back to the Nerdy Grail and the first in the new series of Doctor Who. Series 2 has finally dropped, and earlier this morning I sat down with my fiancée and my family and we watched the very first episode titled The Robot Revolution. And if I'm being perfectly honest, compared to Space Babies in season 1, this story was a lot better in my personal opinion. Felt a lot more cohesive, the pacing was a lot better, the plot was a lot better, and I am really looking forward to the rest of series 2 now. So I'm going to waste no more time. I'm going to break down my review on Doctor Who The Robot Revolution. I'm going to talk about the plot, I'm going to talk about the characters, and I'm going to give you my positives and my negatives of the episode. But please be warned, if you haven't watched the episode yet, please, you can turn the review off now, go and watch it, because I will be talking about spoilers in this episode and how I think the series is going to progress after this episode. So, sit tight, grab your sonic screwdrivers, grab a bag of jelly babies, and get ready for my review on The Robot Revolution. Okay, so episode 1, season 2, episode 1, The Robot Revolution. We've got the tagline that we need to get her home. The whole point of this series is the Doctor is going to be struggling to get his new companion, Belinda Chandra, back home to Earth. But obviously we need to know where she came from in the first place. Right, so this episode was written by Russell T Davies. And since he's come back during the 60th anniversary specials, obviously some of the stories he's written has been a little bit hit or miss for a lot of people. But to be fair, this story was pretty good. And was fairly coherent, and I quite liked it. Visually, this story was a lot better to look at. There was times where I thought, I don't know, I think they're trying to go a bit too big, and then they might let the story suffer a little bit because of that. But I think overall, it did look fairly good. Put it this way, if I was to compare this to Space Babies, this is way better than Space Babies. Okay, so please believe me when I say that, this is better than Space Babies. Hence why we only had an episode 1 drop and we didn't have a double episode drop like last time where we had both Space Babies and The Devil's Cord drop at the same time. Okay, so this story starts off, we meet our new companion, Belinda, who sat on a bench with her boyfriend Alan, and for her birthday he decides to give her a star. He gives her one of those star certificates, point to the sky doing some stargazing and says that star is yours. And it's all quite sweet. It's nice to see a companion with a boyfriend again. You know, you think for a second, oh, maybe we might have a nice couple romance in the TARDIS maybe again, even though the trailers never showed that. But then it skips forward 17 years and we meet Belinda, who's a nurse in a hospital, caring for some patients. The Doctor is there searching for her. She goes back home, but then as she's trying to sleep at night, her home gets invaded by these giant robots who are looking for her. They find her star certificate and say that she is their queen of their planet. I predicted that from the get-go. I said, is this how the robots are going to think she is their queen? Because her boyfriend gifted her a star, that star is a planet, that planet then belongs to her. That's exactly what happens. As she's taken to this spaceship, we see Mrs. Flood, again played by Anita Dobson. I'm glad I met Anita Dobson when I went to Cardiff Comic Con last year. It was brilliant meeting her. But yeah, apparently she's going to be in the majority of the episodes, or at least cameo. And she's very calm and casual about the whole situation, whereas Belinda's obviously panicked. She just lets her go off, saying, oh, bye Belinda, have fun. And then the Doctor arrives screaming for Belinda and gives chase. As soon as the Doctor arrives, though, Mrs. Flood hides and basically does another fourth wall break saying, you didn't see me, or don't tell him that you saw me. So she's not wanting the Doctor to know she's there, which I find quite strange that, again, Mrs. Flood is now next door to Belinda when she was next door to Ruby last time, so she is following them. She's following all the core cast. During the journey, the Doctor and Belinda go through this like time slip, this time fracture. Time goes all weird. And then as Belinda's taken to this planet, she's greeted. She finds out that actually the robots are in charge of the planet and all the people are actually enslaved. And they say that she needs to now take the throne, and she is being set up to marry this AI generator, this AI that has taken over the planet and allowed the robots to be the ruler. But first she needs to speak to their historian. which the historian happens to be the Doctor, which we find out later the Doctor's actually been there for at least 6 months, and he's worked his way up to be able to make it into the throne room to talk and get to Belinda. It's a bit of a timey-wimey story. And then we find out that there's a secret actually in the programming of the robots. And I thought this was quite clever. Every 9th word, you're able to speak your mind and you're able to be free from their control. So I thought that was quite good. So they subtly give each other messages, and then basically this whole rebellion happens. The Doctor, they start a rebellion and they try to escape. They run, they manage to get away, and then the Doctor reveals that actually he's been looking for her and that he's been there for 6 months, because when he arrived, the robots were already there and they confiscated the TARDIS, and so he had to work in the Undercity and help the rebellion happen. So he worked his way up to 6 months, and he fell, not necessarily in love, but he built a good, strong relationship with a character called Sasha 55, or Sasha. They built a strong bond. Unfortunately, she does die. We get another Doctor crying moment, but I'll talk about that in my positives and my negatives. There's also a cute little robot as well, who is cleaning all the time, and he reminds me of Gadget from Waters of Mars. You probably know what I'm talking about. He's really, really cool. We get another Sonic Screwdriver variant as well, not that I've seen before. I think it's like a yellow variant, so I'm wondering if we're going to get any merch of that. But yeah, so it is really, really good. We find out the Doctor's plan. We get to meet some of the other characters, some of the other rebels. There's a character called Manny who really doesn't trust Belinda and thinks that it's all her fault because she's the queen and it's her fault that the robots have taken over. So there's a bit of a rivalry going on there. Belinda, feeling bad, does give their location away, surrenders herself to this AI generator. The Doctor and Belinda get taken to this AI generator, this mastermind that's controlling the robots. And there we get the so-called plot twist, which both me and my fiancée, we saw this coming a mile away. We find out that actually the AI generator is actually Alan, her boyfriend, who got captured over 10 years ago and has been converted over time and become corrupted and started the robot revolution in the first place. So yeah, it all got a bit weird. But eventually they do defeat Alan, the AI generator, and obviously it's all happy days in the end. The Doctor's given back the TARDIS, but Belinda wants to get home. And that's when the story arc then happens, where they get back in the TARDIS. They try to go back to the 24th of May is when they're trying to get back to, which I'm fairly certain that might be when the finale is. I'm not 100% certain, but I think it might be. But the TARDIS won't take them back. You hear that moaning noise again as well from the last series when Sutekh was possessing the TARDIS and attacking the TARDIS. So you know that there's something dangerous going on there. It's almost like the cloister bells of the TARDIS. But he can't get them back. But Belinda's getting really agitated. She wants to get home. The Doctor's saying that I can't get you home the normal way, so we're going to have to go the long way around. And so their journey then kicks off. And that's basically the basic plot and premise of the story. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to briefly go over a little bit of the characters and also my positives and negatives for the Robot Revolution. Okay, so positives and negatives about the Robot Revolution. Well, overall, I'm going to give this story a 7 out of 10. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Yeah, I know some people might vote it higher, some people might vote it way lower. This is just my personal opinion, remember. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 because compared to Space Babies, which personally for me, Space Babies is like a 3 or a 4 out of 10, this was 10 times better. I'd happily sit down and watch this again, which I probably will, over the Space Babies any day. I thought this story was way better, a lot more enjoyable, visually better, the plot was better, and I enjoyed the characters a lot more. Speaking of the characters, the Doctor, played by Ncuti Gatwa, yet again, he does a fairly good job. I will say, as part of the positives and negatives, obviously the Doctor does cry again, and I'm not one that thinks the Doctor shouldn't cry. I think the Doctor should be allowed to be emotional, but I am also of the thing of, I don't want him to cry in every episode. Okay, and I feel like in this episode it wasn't fully justified. He was crying over Sasha, which we now know was a character that he'd been with for about 6 months. But the problem is we didn't see that on screen, and for what we saw of Sasha on screen, it was very little. So they didn't linger on it too much, which was the good thing, but it did sort of distract us a little bit, and even slow-mode her death, and it just didn't hit right. Because we don't know her, it doesn't hit the same way, so I don't know why they did that. But, you know, crying aside, I think Ncuti Gatwa actually did a really good job. I found him really entertaining in this story. He's growing on me a lot more as the Doctor now. Like, he's still not my favourite, but I would say he is growing on me. And I think, for me, this was one of his best performances so far. And I think this series is going to be really, really good. He goes through a couple of costume changes as well. He starts off the story in this, like, pleated red jumper with the blue skirt, which I thought was actually pretty good, actually. Blue trousers underneath and boots. And then he wears like this beige prisoner look outfit on the planet. Planet Belinda Chandra is really weird. But yeah, he did a really good job. The brand new companion, Varada, who plays Belinda Chandra, I think she's really good. Me and my fiance both agree she, in terms of her personality, is a combination of Donna Noble and Martha Jones, where she doesn't take the Doctor's crap like Donna does. She's obviously a nurse, so she's got the medical background like Martha Jones does. She's got the tactical background of Martha Jones as well. Like, she knows what she's doing, because by the end of season 3, Martha knew how to defend the Earth against the Master. So I think she's got that nailed down. She's got the sassiness of Donna Noble. I think she's going to be a good companion, and she had a really good performance. We had Nicholas Briggs, who did the voice of the robots. I thought that was interesting. We recognised that straight away. The robots were good. Their design was pretty cool. They didn't do an awful lot, but as a threat, you felt their threat. And because they were big, chunky ones, they were bashing down walls. And it was really, really cool, I must admit. Some of the other side characters, like the little robot that's like Polish. I love that little robot. That's going to come down in merchandise, I think, as well. Characters like Manny as part of the Revolution, Little Crew, the Rebellion. He was pretty cool. Like, the supporting cast didn't do an awful lot. This story felt like very much the Doctor, Belinda, and then the villain of her boyfriend, Alan, who did really, really well. And he was believable as a villain. But yeah, I thought it was pretty good. So the core characters, Mrs. Flood again, played by Anita Dobson, did really well as well. She's still got that creepy edge to her. I'm interested to see how she's going to pop up now, because we're now not on modern day Earth. Sorry about that. She's now not on modern day Earth, so she'd have to follow the Doctor another way. So I'm interested to see how that's going to happen. Because it was believable in episode 1 because she was on Earth. But now, how would she be in other stories because the Doctor's unable to get back to modern day Earth? So that will be interesting to see. So I look forward to seeing more of her in the future. In the next episode, we've got that cartoon animated villain of Mr. Ring-a-Ding. I think it's Ring-a-Ding. Can't really remember. But he looks really good, and that's going to be a good episode, I think. But yeah, overall, I thought the Robot Revolution was pretty good. Pretty solid. I quite liked it. Visually, like I said, was good. The characters were pretty decent. The plot was okay. And it sets up a good story arc now of the Doctor unable to get Belinda home. He even told Belinda as well at the end in the TARDIS. He told Belinda he's seen her before. So she knows they've got a bit of history together. So that's going to be interesting to see how that pans out over the series and whether that impacts their relationship later on down the line or not. But for now, that is going to be my little review on the Robot Revolution. I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, please like it by giving it a thumbs up and comment down below what did you think of Doctor Who Season 2, Episode 1, The Robot Revolution. And subscribe if you are new. But for now, this is the Nerdy Grail signing off. I hope you've had an amazing day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now, everyone.